Hello, welcome to OSCFM14. I'm Oscar, this is the 14th one. We're in the off season. We're also in a new environment, but we'll get into all that later. Here's a song. It's nice to hear you again. It's nice to talk to you. Missed you. Here's a song. Getcha, no sign on. No, it's gotta getcha. This is Moving On Up by Primal Scream. I sort of vaguely remember that song from my childhood. Maybe I definitely remember the album cover. I think that's quite iconic. And that's from a playlist, OSCFM14. If you wanna have a look at my playlist, because I normally make one for the show. Feel free, just type in OSCFM14 on Spotify. But yeah, I kind of remember the artwork, and I think I'm getting them mistaken with like Chemical Brothers or somebody, because that was quite himmy. It was quite nice, quite feel good. It was quite himmy, and I sort of remember it being a bit more sort of breakdowny, less sort of himmy. But yeah, that's Moving On Up by Primal Scream for you to start the day off. Hope you're doing okay. Apologies for the bit of a break. As I say, it's the off season. It's I'm not kind of in the uni schedule. It's a bit more laissez-faire these days. It's a bit more, well, what am I doing today? Which might sound like it might sound like there's more time for radio, but if anything, there's less. And there's something quite nice in the ability, superpower, if you will, of making day go really, really quickly by not doing a lot. So yeah, this is OSCFM. I'm glad to be back. I feel I'm quite tired, but I think we could I could weaponize that. I could use that to my advantage here. Police there. In the fact that, at least it's something. I'd rather be tired than nothing. In sort of feeling wise. Here's a song. It's called Gotta Get a Grip. It's very good. It's one of the better songs on this playlist. So I don't know if I like that first one. It's alright. It's nice. Yeah, sure. Why not? Wow, listen to that. Listen to it. Wow. Grip! Got to get it! Stick! Got to get it! Got to get it! Oh, love! sort of hits you. Ew! Gets you. Ugh! Doom, doom, doom. Ugh! Ugh! Oh, right in the gut. Ugh! The background guitar. Got to get a grip. Beat him with a stick. Got to get a grip. Beat him with a stick. Oh, it's got to get a grip. The Kevin Parker remix, by Mick Jagger and Kevin Parker. Really, really like that. Big fan. I understand Mick Jagger might be a bit of a name. However, it seems like the first thing Kevin Parker's ever done. Maybe. He appears on a Mark Ronson record as well. He might be like a producer. He's done mixed stuff. He's done Mick Jagger, Mark Ronson, and a guy called Frost the Great twice. Although maybe it's quite a common name. We'll play that next. But now I'm going to do a bit of talking. But I've got you hooked, haven't I? So, little tricks like that. Stick with me, you go far. You're listening to OSCFM14. Or, 20. 10. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2. 4, no. I think it's 20. Hey Google. What's 14 in French?
In French, that's 14. Anything else you want me to translate?
What does 20 mean?
Que veut dire Vendée?
20?
Daldi.
20.
Yvonne Lapet.
Kevin Parker.
Kevin Parker.
Okay, thank you, Google.
D'accord. Merci, Google.
Okay, thank you. So yeah, that's
D'accord. Merci.
That's the Kevin Parker section done. As I mentioned, it's the off season in uni, so we're sort of in between second and 30. That's pretty cool. Sort of halfway through. And I'm in the process. Well, I guess the process finished now of moving out of my flat and moving into my new flat. Intermittently moving into my girlfriend's flat. And all different range of emotions there.
Voilà la section Kevin Parker terminée. Comme je l'ai mentionné, c'est l'intersaison où tu meurs.
This is for the
Donc, il a trié entre les images de 30 et je suis en train de déménager
French.
de mon appartement et d'emménager dans mes nouveaux appartements, emménageant par
French
intermittence dans
listeners. Okay, thank you, Google. Can you stop now?
Sure. If you ever want to use this again, just say, be my French interpreter.
Hey Google, what does 20 mean?
Dis has two different meanings. Starting with the most common one, dis can be used as a verb as an informal term to mean.
No. I don't think we're ever going to find that out. Let's listen to this Kevin Parker song. It's called Shine Your Lie with no T. This is definitely a different Kevin Parker. It's good. Sorry, that Google. I'm gonna have a look.
Frost Productions.
Please shine your light on me, your light on me, so I can see ya. Please shine your light on me, your light on me, so I can see ya. I confess, I've been drifting away, smoking weed every day to take the pain away, the hate away. I've been stressed, but I haven't been praying as much. I just been focused on grinding and not the Lord still believe in me. Have faith in me. Your grace can lead me to the light. I just need to take that leap. When I'm so deep in my sins, I'll repent just for you. Please shine your light on me, your light on me, so I can see it. Please shine your light on me, your light on me, so I can see it.
Yeah, looking back, I feel ashamed of the path that I took. I keep forgetting what happens in the back of the book. When you return, you will burn the earth to an ash pile. I try to delete all your messages like a trash file. If my cash piles up to the top of the industry and records go platinum, Satan's trap habits to finish me. Claps fade in the background without any dancers. I'll be left in the lake of fire without any answers. The chances of a Grammy have been on my mind lately, but instead of talking to you, I've been on my grind lately. I've been trying to shine lately, but I need to be forgiven, cause I'm more concerned with picking what label to sign lately than the mission that you gave when you left us on the planet. But you love me and accept me, Lord, I just can't understand it. My credit's in the red, you have every right to decline it. You put the light in my heart, call me Iron Man, I'ma shine it.
Please shine your light on me.
Come on, sing along. Lead on me.
So
I see, yeah. Please shine your light on me, your light on me.
so I can see it.
Please shine your light on me, your light on me, so I can see. Yeah. Hello. Hello. Yeah, so that was Shine Your Light by Frost the Great and Kevin Parker. If I had to guess, I think Frost the Great is the rapper and Kevin Parker's the hook man. The hook man. And during that song, I was doing a bit of research, found out that I was thinking of Vont Deux. Vont Dix is 2010 and Vont Deux is 22. So I was probably thinking of the wrong thing actually. So yeah, that's what Vont D means. Also found out who the Kevin Parker who did a song with Mick Jagger was. Turns out he's Kevin Parker actually. You know, the Kevin Parker from Tame Impala. Kevin Parker there, who I'm gonna hazard a guess that's not the same Kevin Parker, but you know, it could be. Sorry, I'm just gonna open the window. That's an actual window there, not just a bit of radio, radio play. It's a real window that, because I'm in a new flat, and this new flat has got a couple of windows up its sleeves, or up its walls, sort of shoulders. And yeah, it's the fancy sort of guillotine style window where they're quite flat. You sort of push them up or pull them down, all flat like. And I'm not gonna lie, it's quite a sight to behold. Like a real big window like that, just kind of, just the sheer amount of space it can potentially be or not be. However, it is quite a windy day today, so I'm realising there's occasionally it has a sort of knock, which sounds a bit like somebody knocking on the door. But don't There's nobody at your door. Nobody at my door. So don't worry about that. And, yeah. Front room. Mic set up. OSCFM14 is almost in. I mean, I feel it was still sort of introing. But it's, it's getting there. Oh, we got loads of time left. But it's great. I quite like it. You're listening to OSCFM, and we listen to some nice songs. Very mini flat. It's the front room. I could give you a little mini audio tour. So the front room, I'm gonna guess like 12 feet high in space, and that in a square, quite how big's that? Well, it could probably fit like 3 sofa widths, 3 sofas laying across each other. So think of that sort of width, and how much did I say? 12 feet high, and then square that off. That's the physical space, and then on one of those walls you got 2 guillotine windows that I was talking about before. They're quite big. It's actually quite cold. That's stuff like that. So it's a square, and it's got a light and some sofas that are more. It's a front room. It's a front room, and it's got a window. I'm gonna cool down. This is gonna be from the playlist. This is also a good. I shouldn't just go for the good songs. This is a weird song.
Come on over. Don't be shy. Come here. Come sit with me. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Honey Dijon.
Si la femme c'est magnifique, si la femme c'est fantastique, si la femme c'est magnifique, si la femme c'est fantastique.
Miss Honey Dijon, c'est fantastique. Tonight. Hear the beats, Miss Honey tonight. See the woman, look at her. You've got to let it take control. There's too much pressure. See the woman, work,
Oh yeah. La femme fantastique. La femme fantastique feat. Josh Caff by Honey Dijon and Josh Caff. La femme fantastique. You're listening to OSCFM14. So yeah, I'm not going to get too into the geography of the old house, just because I think I'm kind of over that. I think I kind of did that quite a lot first year. Not first year, early OSCFMs. I think I talked about where is that quite a lot, and I'm just not sort of there at the moment, physically and emotionally. Just quite enjoying sort of being by the window and talking to you lot, I guess. La femme fantastique. Boop, 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 boop. However, I mean, it is quite a nice crutch having something to talk about, isn't it? On the old head. What should I talk about? Home Alone at the moment. Hence the sort of common room atmos. And slightly... Actually, that's a lie. I'm not alone in the room. Because bearing over to me on the other side of the room, I've just remembered that he's actually there, is a little man known as Blem. The fish. Blem the fish. And, yeah, he's a little fish that likes to... Hey Google, play some, like, chilled out fishy background music.
Playing Chill Out Lounge on Spotify.
That'll do. Oh, hang on, that's... So, Blem is a fish that is one of my flatmates. Actually, I guess it's all of their flatmates. They came from the same house this year, and they've got joint custody and ownership of the fish. Blem the fish. And I remember, actually, me and my flatmates, we went house surfing, you know, because sometimes you just need a house, and you gotta go surfing. You got to have a look. However, in the sort of down times of that high environment place, quite stressful, you know. I remember the flatmates. What's happening? They look into each other's eyes and maybe glance at mine, and I'd say, I think we should get a fish. And so, the fish was born, but not the physical fish. The idea of the fish. The plan was in motion, and I believe as a flat they all went down. All 6 of them. I don't think that's true. And they... Let's see if I get this right. They went to the fish shop. And they... I remember. Here we go. It's coming back to me now. They went to the fish shop and bought a fish. This is quite hard because I remember the story was like a year ago. They went to the fish shop and they bought a fish. And they said to the man, hey Google, skip this song. They said to the man, do you have any fish bowls? Sort of old school, real old school that. And I think the fish man, the fish merchant, kind of, because obviously if you're a fish if you're a fish seller over live fishes, you're going to be quite in the know about like the goings on and the current trends. And he basically kind of said they're really inhumane, and nobody's had a fish bowl in like years. But like, if you're not, I mean, he's a fish man, isn't he? He's sort of supposed to know that, isn't he? And so they decided to get a different bowl, which is the very bowl that's in my front room right now, sharing the radio waves with me. Because if you listen really carefully, well, you can hear me and Google, but if you listen, can you hear that sort of hum or the sort of gargle? Yeah, there he is. That's him. And this new tank is no bowl. This is a rectangle, fully formed, and it looks so cheap. It's like it's one of the items where it's like spending any money on it, it would come as a surprise. It's the sort of thing that you kind of find or you get for free, and I think I got for free. And yeah, he's great. I've looked after him quite a few times actually. I mean, I'm not really looking after him now. He's sort of moved in. Just sort of starting the day. I mean, before I was proper fish sitting, and I'd sort of come down from the 3rd floor in my old flat with a purpose. I'd have a handful of fish food and know what must be done. Sort of put it in a bowl. It's just quite nice having a sort of animal about. However, now he's in the flat, it's not really he's not just dependent on me. He's more of a equal sort of thing. And he's called Blem. He's a little black goldfish. I think they're called fancy goldfish. I think that's their name. And he's great. Oh. Alright, oh my god. Yeah, that's that. That's the fish. Let's play a song. I got quite into that. I think that's sort of where I'm at, like energy wise today. This is Where's My Brain by the Lazy Eyes. Where's my brain? 3 question marks. Worthy. That's really nice. Welcome to OSCFM14. Welcome. So yeah, I guess that's sort of where I'm at the moment. Still like doing the radio. Radio's fun. Hope you enjoyed the last episode with the special guest host, Brady. He was good. And yeah, actually, I think that's I'm not gonna finish. I just think I've got what I wanted to say, I think. However, it's not over, it's just gonna be half time. I'm gonna play a song and then we will reconvene somewhere else. Okay? Here you go. I can never fucking mute this mic.
Reasons to be cheerful, part 3. Summer buddy holly, the working folly, good golly Miss Molly, and boats. Hammersmith Pally, the Bolshoi Bally, jump back in the alley, add nanny goats. 18-wheeler camels, Dominica camels, all other mammals plus equal votes. Seeing Piccadilly, Fanny Smith and Willie, being rather silly, and porridge oats. A bit of grin and bear it, a bit of come and share it. You're welcome, we can spare it. Yellow socks, too short to be haughty, too nutty to be naughty. Going on 40, no electric shocks. The juice of the carrot, the smile of the parrot, a little drop of claret, anything that rocks. Elvis and Scotty, the days when I ain't spotty, sitting on the potty, curing smallpox. Reasons to be cheerful, part 3. Reasons to be cheerful, part 3. Reasons to be cheerful, part 3. Reasons to be cheerful. 1, 2, 3. Reasons to be cheerful, part 3. Health service glasses, gigolos and brasses, round or skinny bottoms. Taking mum to Paris, lighting up the chalice, Wee Willie Harris. Bantu Stephen Biko, listening to Rico, Harpo Groucho Chico. Cheddar cheese and pickle, the Vincent motorcycle, slap and tickle. Woody Allen Darley, Dimitri and Pasquale, Balla 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 and Valari. Sunday nice to study, phoning up a buddy, being in my nuddy. Saying okie dokie, sing along a smoky, coming out a chokey. John Coltrane soprano, Eddie Celentano, Bona Carlino. Reasons to be cheerful, part 3. Reasons to be cheerful, part 3. Reasons to be cheerful, part 3. Reasons to be cheerful. 1, 2, 3. Yes, yes, dear, dear, perhaps next year, or maybe even never. In which case... Cheerful, part 3. Reasons to be cheerful, part 3. Reasons to be cheerful, part 3. Reasons to be cheerful, 1, 2, 3. Reasons to be cheerful, part 3. Reasons to be cheerful, part 3. Reasons to be cheerful, part 3. reasons to be cheerful. 1, 2, 3.
And hello, I haven't really tested the audio out here, but spoiler, we're out here in the old main attraction of the house itself, the landing strip, as I've become, as I've affectionately been calling it. That's the words. They're the words. So the old landing strip out here, which you might have guessed is outdoors. I mean, although technically it's sort of it's quite squared off, kind of squared off like a little, well, it's a balcony, but because it's so high up, we have some gates, we have some fences just in case we don't fall and die. So yeah, welcome to the landing strip. And here, also famously, the Wi-Fi on the landing strip is notoriously iffy, but we'll give it a go. And this is Lil Nas X. This is Lil Nas X. Yeah. Oh, you've heard that one. That was Lil Nas X and Jack Harlow with Industry Baby. Quite like that one. You know, it's about him being... Well, actually, no, why not? Why not talk about the industry? You know, break the fourth wall. Or the fourth sort of ear. So, yeah, quite nice up in the landing strip. 3 floors up. Probably square meterage of, I don't know, 15 meters, whatever. I'm kind of done with my physicalizing spaces, but lovely view. You should really see it. You should really come and visit. Sort of opposite a graveyard, which isn't as dreary as it sounds. It's mainly trees 3 floors up. We're on the sort of eye line of the trees, and they're bloody huge. They're massive. Always blowing through the wind. But interestingly, and this is a bit of a callback, still smaller than King Kong should be. It really makes you sort of wonder. And we also get to peer over on an alley, sort of at the back of our flat. Which, I mean, it's nothing to shout home about, really. Get the occasional walkers. You know, the people who know the shortcuts, know the city, the outroads. It's got quite a lot of cobbles there. And bins. Quite a few bins. I'm going to say about 20 bins. But it's very exciting to have a balcony in the flat. It just... the sort of thrill of being outside but also being in your flat. You're in no man's land. Because as I say, you're fenced in, but you're very much outside. And don't worry, I'm keeping an eye on the clouds. They look dingy, but they've got shades of grey. But we'll see. We'll put some minutes in. I hope you've been enjoying OSCFM14. Sorry for the halftime break. I mean, for you, it's not even been a break. I'm not gonna lie, I was procrastinating a little bit, but here I am, back on the saddle. The airwave saddle. And it's fun. It's quite a busy road parallel to that alley. I mean, I never really saw it that much first year. I sort of was always crossing it, toing and froing, never really hung out around it, but I mean, yeah, it's always busy. Snarl up. That's a nice term. Real snarl up. So yeah, you're listening to OSCFM on the landing strip, and this is I Only Drink When I'm Drunk by BC Camplight. It's not as edgy as it sounds. I only drink when I'm drunk. Only drink when I'm drunk. Really good that one. Really good. You're listening to OSCFM14. Thinking about applying for student radio for these adventures, which sort of leads. I mean, it opens cans such as what is OSCFM, and what do you talk about, and what's it all about, which I feel like I could probably muster up something. I guess it's sorry if it's windy. It's probably very windy. One thing, OSCFM is windy. I think it's just the thrill of a live mic, and new horizons, and great tunes, and talking. OSCFM. Yeah, the balcony's fun. Hope you've been having fun. If it's your off season, or if you're very much on season, halfway through in the battle of it all, on the horizon, if you like. But yeah, we're getting back into it, I think. Me, microphone, laptop, brain. Head, shoulders, knees and brain. I enjoyed the chat with Google earlier. Also, if I have said this to any student radio representatives and you've made it this far, well, thank you for listening. I hope you've enjoyed it. And fingers crossed to working together in the future. Yeah. Yeah. This is a song I've never heard. Oh, I've heard this one. It's good though. the chat, identity theft. I think we're going to leave it on that note. I hope you've enjoyed OSCFM14. Quite a few OSCFMs there. Quite a little collection. It's 2 weeks. We've done a fortnight. Happy fortnight. 15 would be good. 15 feels like a nice round number. But then you sort of reach into, after 15 it goes 16. I don't think that's very fun. 17, that's a prime, is it? Yeah, I think 17's a prime. Sounds quite cool. Welcome to OSCFM17. 18, nah. Although that might be nice with the sort of 8 and the O from OSC. 19, you're just waiting at that point, and then the big 2-0. The big 2-0. Yeah, it's gonna be good. Alright then, well, I'm gonna go and I'm gonna have a pizza. But you can do what you want. You can hang about if you want, or just like leave. But thanks for listening, and goodbye.